So, good afternoon po. My name is Lester John A. House from BVED 3A. So, my topic for today is all about contingency models of leadership. Contingency leadership theory is a practice of leadership. It believes there is no singular best way to structure and organization. Instead, the best leadership style will be contingent on the situation. Effective leadership is one of the most attractive qualities in an individual. Contingency theory is an organization theory that claims that there is no best way to organize a corporation, to lead a company, or to make decisions. Instead, the optimal course of action is contingent, dependent upon the internal and external situation. Contingency theories hold that leadership effectiveness is related to the interplay of a leader's traits or behaviors and situational factors. So, 'di ba sa bawat classroom may iba't ibang students at mayroon din tayong iba't ibang characteristics at way and experiences ng pagiging isang leader. So, simula elementary to high school, naranasan naman natin maging leader. So dito natin nababase kung ano ba yung talagang effective na model of leadership. The contingency leadership theory. The leader's ability to lead is contingent upon various situational factors including the leader's preferred style. So yun nga, mayroon tayong iba't ibang way para maging isang leader. So ano ba yung preferred nating style? Saan ba tayo magaling? Ano ba yung mga kahinaan natin? So, ikaw o tayo lang mismo ang nakakalam kung ano ba yung effective way para ma-resolve natin yung isang problema. So, meron tayong iba't ibang characteristics and experiences in life. Through that aspects, nakaka-affect yun sa kung anong preferred style na mayroon ng bawat leader. So, the capabilities, dito natin malalaman kung ano ba yung mga way natin to do something or to achieve our certain goal. Behaviors of followers and also various other situational factors. So dito naman is nakadepende din ito sa mga magiging members natin sa isang grupo. Kung saan ba sila magaling, kung ano yung mga kahinaan nila. So kailangan alam natin yung mga ganun. Kung hindi naman tayo matutulungan ng kagrupo natin is 'di ba mahirapan din naman tayong gampanan yung pagiging leader natin. The contingency theory. How leadership style affects situational success or failure. So paano nga ba? How leadership style affects? Paano ba natin malalaman kung magiging successful o fail ang pagiging leader? So kung alam naman natin na ginagawa naman natin lahat, so it means magiging successful ang pagiging leader natin. At kung hindi naman, so failure ang magiging kakalabasan. So nakadepende pa din ito sa situation. So meron tayong 4 contingency models of leadership. First is situational leadership theory. Next is path goal theory, decision-making theory, and Fiedler's contingency theory. Situational leadership theory, more formally called Hersey and Blanchard's situational leadership theory. This contingency model focuses on leadership style and the maturity of those being led. Situational leadership theory puts forth the idea that leadership style hinge on 4 behaviors: telling, selling, participating, and delegating. So sa situational leadership theory, refers to those leader na kayang i-adapt yung different leadership style according sa situation ng kanilang teams. So kung ano ba yung mga kakayanan ng kanyang members, kailangan marunong kang mag-adjust para sa kanila upang magawa yung isang task at makomplete yung certain goals. Situational leadership is an adaptive leadership style. Sa strategy na ito, natitimbang yung mga variables sa environment, lalong-lalo sa school. At dito rin natin napipili kung ano ba yung leadership style na mag-fit sa goals and circumstances. Sinasabi din dito na hindi lang sa positional power binibase ang pagiging leader, kundi nakabase na rin sa mismong kakayanan ng isang tao or individual. Next is pot goal theory. Pot goal theory combines two popular theories, goal setting and expectancy into one. It puts forth the idea that effective leaders help those in their direction attain their goals. Under this contingency model, leaders have the responsibility of making sure their subordinates have the support and the information required to achieve the goals set forth. So sa pot goal theory, based kay Victor H. Broom, expectancy motivation of theory. Sinasabi niya dito yung isang leader ang nag-clear ng path para maging daan ng kanyang mga members, or ito yung magiging susundan na lang nila. An individual will behave or act in a certain way because they are motivated to select a specific behavior in response to a situation. So, for example, sa isang team, a team is unable to meet their goals within their timeline. So, bawat leader naman gusto natin is yung matapos yung task na naiatas sa atin. Kung hindi kaya ng ating members, so kailangan mas magiging involved tayo dito sa pag-process para tulungan natin yung bawat isa. Next is decision-making theory, also known as the Broom-Yaton-Jago decision making model of leadership. This contingency leadership models puts forth the idea that effective leaders size up situations, assess them, and then determine how much support the group will give toward the effort, adjusting their preferred leadership style of it. So sa decision-making theory, it is a theory of how rational individuals should behave under risk and uncertainty. So, sinasabi dito na kailangan ay nag-iisip tayo ng rational, o kailangan pinag-iisipan muna natin ng mabuti at timbangin kung ano ba yung mas effective na way, kung ano ba yung kakayanan ng kagrupo natin, at para maka-adjust ka sa preferred leadership style. So for example, sa isang classroom, kailangan muna mag-brainstorming para sa isang activity para malaman kung ano ba yung mga dapat gawin bago mag-come up ng isang decision. Excuse me. Next is yung kay Fiedler's contingency theory. Fiedler's contingency theory puts forth the idea that effective leadership hinge not only on the style used by the leader, but also on the control held over the situation. In order to succeed, there must be a strong leader-member relations. Sa Fiedler's contingency theory, this theory also consider leadership style to be fixed and unchangeable. Therefore, if a leader's style is not a good fit for a particular situation, they will need to be replaced by a different leader. So kung halimbawa hindi effective yung naging leadership style ng isang leader or individual, so mapapalitan siya on ito ng ibang leader, dahil sinasabing dito sa Fiedler's contingency theory na fix yung leadership style ng bawat individual at hindi na ito nababago. So we will explore the Fiedler's contingency model and see how it can highlight the most effective leadership style to use in different situations. So meron tayong 4 contingency model of leadership kanina, pero mas magpo-focus lang tayo kay Fiedler's contingency model of leadership. Understanding the model. So sino nga ba si Fred Fiedler? Fred Fiedler developed what is known as the contingency model of leadership. He is famous for being the first management theorist to say that leadership effectiveness depends on the situation. The Fiedler contingency model was created in the mid-1960s by Fred Fiedler. So siya yung scientist na nag-study ng personality and characteristics ng isang leader. The model states that there is no one best style of leadership. Instead, a leader's effectiveness is based on the situation. This is the result of two factors. First is the leadership style, and the second is situational favorableness. Leadership style. Fiedler believed that leadership style is fixed and it can be measured using a scale he developed called Least Preferred Coworker or LPC scale. Less preferred coworker scale. The less preferred coworker scale developed by American scholar Fred Fiedler identifies whether an individual's leadership style is either relationship-oriented or task-oriented. Your natural leadership style can be determined using the LPC scale. To score yourself on this scale, you have to describe the coworker with whom you least prefer to work. So, identifying leadership style is the first step in using this model. Yun nga, sinasabi dito na naniniwala si Fred Fiedler na ang leadership style ay fixed at ito ay pwede nating ma-measure using scale. At dito na din niya na-develop yung tinatawag na less preferred coworker scale or LPC scale. Nagagamit natin ito sa pagsukat sa characteristics, traits at attitude ng ating members or group mates. The first step is to use a scale called LPCs. To use this scale, you must think of a team member you did not or do not enjoy working with. This can be anyone from a former classmate to your current supervisor. Then, you must rate the person to the following scale. If you have a high score, 73 and above, you are a relationship-oriented leader. And low score when 54 and below, that indicate a task-oriented leader. Those who rank in the middle of 55 to 72 are blend of both styles, and it's up to them to decide which they align better. So, ito yung example ng table natin ng less preferred coworker scale. So, dito natin malalaman kung saan ba sila nakapaloob. So, meron tayong tinatawag na lower score at higher score. Sa lower score, the type of leader is task-oriented leaders. Fiedler called this as low LPC leaders. He said that low LPCs are very effective at completing tasks. Relationship building is a low priority. Low score, it is focused more on tasks and projects rather relationships. They are quick to organize teams or groups and get task or project done. Task-oriented leadership is a leadership model kung saan mas pina-priority na matapos ang certain task at ma-reach yung team goals ninyo. So, bawat leader ay kinakailangan mag-create ng step-by-step plan to meet their objectives. Ang individual na may ganitong leadership style are usually sila yung mga mas organized when creating structures and systems for their team to follow. Sa higher score naman is high LPCs focus more on personal connections and they are good at avoiding in managing conflict. It is a relationship-oriented leaders. Relationship-oriented leaders tend to have favorable things to say about their coworker. Mas nagpo-focus sila sa personal connections at magaling sila when avoiding and managing conflict. It is primarily focused on supporting, motivation, and developing individuals and teams through collaborative working. So, ang task-oriented ay nakapokus sa isang person na kailangan magawa o matapos ang isang task para ma-meet niya yung certain goals or standards. While relationship-oriented is nakapokus sa motivation at general well-being ng isang team. So, papasok na tayo sa situational favorableness. Situational control or situational favorableness refers to how favorable a work environment is for a team leader. Three factors can alter situational control: how you relate to your team, how tasks are given, and the power of your position. There are three elements of situational control favorableness: leader-member relations, task structure, position, power. So, yun nga, yung sa situational favorableness of your particular situation, nakadepende ito sa tatlong distinct factors, which is, yun nga, yung leader-member relations, task structure, tsaka position, power. Dito papasok yung level ng sa leader-member relations, it is focused on the level of trust and confidence between the leader and their team. A leader with more trust and influence within the group is in a more favorable situation to lead the team. It, dito papasok yung sa leader-member relations, dito papasok yung level ng trust and confidence na kailangang ibigay sa'yo ng yung team. A leader who is more trusted and has more influence with the group is more favorable situation than a leader who's not trusted. This factor involves the amount of trust and confidence that your team members have in you. Kung may tiwala at gusto ka ng buong team ninyo, so mas magkakaroon ka ng influence sa iba at mas magiging favorable ang leadership style mo sa isang situation. So next is yung task structure. This factor, it is refers to tasks that have been assigned and how clear they have been communicated to the team. Specifically, outlining tasks strengthens allow you to better predict outcomes and cultivate trust, thereby strengthening your situational control. So these factors relates to whether the tasks of your teams completes are clear and structured or vague and unstructured. Kung natapos man ng halimbawa ng buong grupo ang task nila pero hindi clear at unstructured dahil sa kakulangan ng idea at knowledge ng isang leader, hindi pa rin ito magiging sapat. Next is leader's position power. It relates to the amount of authority a leader has over their subordinates. When you have a considerable amount of authority in a team, you will be better positioned to direct the team through reward or punishment. This is the amount of power you have to direct the group and provide rewards or punishment. Kapag mas mataas ang power mo, mas pabor sa'yo lahat ng situation dahil ikaw ang magsasabi o magdidikta sa mga members mo kung ano ba dapat ang kanilang gawin. So, for example, is sa classroom, mayroong class president. Siya yung magsasabi sa ibang class officer at individual kung ano ang gagawin para maging maayos ang classroom. Pero hindi naman ibig sabihin nito ay hindi na din siya kikilos. Applying the Fiedler contingency model. Step 1, identify your leadership style. Step 2, identify your situation. Step 3, determine the most effective leadership style. Step 1, rate your experience with this person using the scale. This is LPC scale. Higher score, relationship focus. Low score, task focus. So ito yung na-discuss natin kanina sa pang 13 to 15 slides. So kung paano ba i-rate yung isang person using the LPC scale at kung napapasailalim ba siya sa higher and lower score. So para malaman natin or ma-identify kung ano ba yung leadership style or kung effective ba ito. Step 2, identify your situation. Consider leader-member relations, task structure, and how much control you have over your current situation. So kinakailangan muna natin, so from the word identify, kinakailangan muna natin i-identify kung ano ba yung situation bago mag-proceed sa paggawa ng isang certain task. kailangan ay mayroon tayong leader-member relations dahil hindi naman kakayanin ng isang leader kung walang tulong ang kanyang members. Step 3, determine the most effective leadership style. So ito yung sa table. Determine the most effective leadership style. Pinapakita dito sa table yung mga breakdown of most effective leader style. Nalalaman natin dito kung under ba tayo ng low LPC or high LPC, kung good or poor ang nagawa nating task, structured or unstructured, at weak or strong. According to Fiedler's theory, match your style with the right situation. You would place leaders in situations that are most suited for their style. So, meron din tayong mga criticisms of the model. So, unang-una na dito is yung lack of flexibility, tsaka yung an issue with the least prepared coworker scale. So, there are some criticism of the Fiedler's contingency model. Unang-una na nga dito is yung lack of flexibility. Naniniwala si Fiedler's na yung leadership style natin ay fixed at hindi na mababago. At ang effective way para ma-handle ang isang situation ay palitan ng leader dahil hindi niya inaalaw ang flexibility in leaders. So, yung sa scale naman, o yung sa issue about sa LPC scale o yung tinatawag nating less preferred coworker scale. Sinasabi niya dito na kung ang low LPC leaders is in charge of a group with good relations and doing an unstructured task and they have a weak position according to the model, ang best solution is palitan sila ng high LPC leader instead of asking them na magpalit na lang ng leadership style. So, how do I become a good leader? So, unang-una is yung be emotionally intelligent. A high level of emotional intelligence means that you understand your team and how they think. This quality is also strongly linked to empathy, which means naiintindihan natin ang bawat individual at kaya mong makarelate sa emotion at experiences nila. Emotional intelligence enables you to maintain control over your emotions and become an excellent communicator. So next is be assertive. An assertive individual is confident in their abilities without being arrogant. Dahil dito, mas magtitiwala sa iyo ang members mo dahil confident ka sa sarili mo at sa mga ideas na naibibigay mo. When you are an assertive leader, mas matutulungan at mas masusuportahan mo ang members mo ng effective. Delegate task. A good leader should be able to delegate task kapag ang isang grupo ay nag-grow in motivation and competence, magkakaroon ito ng magandang progress from supervising to leaving them para matapos nilang isang task. Dahil dito, nalalaman din natin ang strength and areas of growth ng bawat members natin. So this means that the team will require minimal direction and support at mas magbibuild ng trust ang iyong members sa'yo bilang isang leader. Dahil dito, mas magkakaroon ka na ng time upang gawin yung ibang task or issues. Have integrity. People with integrity follow moral and ethical principles in all aspects. Dahil dito, mas natututo ang bawat members natin dahil binibigyan sila ng task bawat isa dahil mayroon kang tiwala sa kanila na kaya nilang gawin yon isang bagay. Pero kailangan muna nating ma-sure kung nasabi mo ng maayos ang kanilang gagawin at wala kang nakalimutang steps ng process. The last one is cultivate your creativity. Organizations seek creative individuals who can brainstorm new ideas to improve processes, products, and productivity. Creative leaders inspire their members and motivate them para mas maging successful yung gagawing task or outcome. So for example, sa cookery, kailangan maging masarap at maayos yung magagawa nilang cookies. So, kailangan ma-motivate ng isang leader ang kanyang members upang ganahan sa paggawa nito. So, yun lang po yung topic natin. So, yung contingency model yung kay Fred Fiedlers. So, salamat po.